bridges.
Okay.
They had him stand at the end of that. And as women would walk across, they would give them the survey and ask them to rate him on a scale of attractiveness. And he scored higher levels of attractiveness with the suspension bridge.
Because a little element of unpredictable fear.
So it was something about that fear that gets your adrenaline pumping that makes a man look more attractive.
So for all the creepos that are listening to our show who are like, okay, go to Starbucks. I could see them writing it down right now. They're writing and they're like, go to Starbucks and call in a bomb threat. But this therapist told me to.
Bad idea.
I really want her to like me.
So some creative ideas. Here's the thing. If you're going to go like rock climbing or hiking or something like that, that can be good. But then you run the risk of
being too private.
Yeah. Like, hey,
come out with me to the middle of the desert so we can get to know each other. Bring your own trash bag.
So that may not be a good idea. But think about any other kind of activities that is exciting that you can do. Laser tag.
Okay.
Something that's really going to be active. That's going to, that's going to be kind of exciting, and maybe some kind of small element of danger.
Okay, yeah, danger is a fuzzy word to me, but I hear your point, which is like, don't pick something that's so obviously milquetoast, like just sitting in a Starbucks and drinking coffee or going to an Applebee's and getting some dinner. Maybe pick something that has a little bit more of an element of the unpredictable to it, which itself could reveal, that you're an interesting person, be memorable, and so then that interesting research about the danger part.
Yeah.
I just imagine some guy listening to this. He's like, yeah, call in a bomb threat. Threaten her family, first date.
It's science.
All right. On that note, we will go to our next question. All right. I am in
Jim.
Yes.
What are your plans for May 4th through May 11th?
I don't have any plans, Nick. Did you have a suggestion?
I do.
What's your suggestion?
Sheep shearing days.
So
sheep shearing days is happening in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's beautiful in Lancaster.
Yeah. Their annual sheep shearing days on May 4th and May 11th from 9 to 5.
Okay.
Get this. They're going to have live sheep shearing demonstrations.
Wow.
Done by professionals.
Oh.
So you can watch them.
Not amateurs.
Nope. No amateurs here.
Allowed.
You can bring the whole family, learn hands-on what it's like to live on the farm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And guess what else?
What else?
Chris Lubbockman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the wood carver that you follow on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge Lubbockman
and
fan.
Esther O'Hare.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Esther O'Hara.
Yeah, O'Hara. I was going to correct you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, the clay artist.
Yeah. Yeah, the clay.
Yeah.
We call her Clay O'Hara.
Yeah, they're gonna be there.
Wow.
So petting
live
zoo,
performances.
buggy rides.
Oh
all
my
of that.
gosh. Buggy rides. Oh,
yes.
Bring your family and friends. I don't care if you live in Alaska. You have plans now for May 4th in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Where dreams come true, Nick.
No, their actual slogan is "Pursue your happiness."
Oh, that's way better than mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Pennsylvania. Pursue your happiness.
Yep.
And pod therapy.
And if you're interested, you can find more information on visitpa.com.
Thank you, Nick, for continuing to plug the very good state and very good people who have refined taste in their podcast listening of Pennsylvania. And with that, we shall move to our next question. I'm in a relationship with an older man. I'm a 21-year-old female dating a 39-year-old man. When I was 18, I met him online. At first, it was purely sexual, but we ended up developing feelings for each other and would talk on the phone every day, etc. I felt like I was in a relationship with this man. The issue was, I didn't want to tell any of my friends or family about it, out of fear of being judged and the stigma around older men and meeting people on the internet. I know my family would not approve. I know it's hard to imagine that anyone with an age difference like ours would have anything in common, but I understand that. Yet we have an amazing conversation, and I think we've both opened each other's mind and are in love. I don't want to tell my parents or friends, and they are incredibly suspicious. Keeping this a secret has put a very large burden on me. He has kids, and he's understandably not ready for me to meet them yet. I don't know where this relationship is going, and as I prepare to graduate from college, I'm beginning to feel more and more lost. I think that I want to travel and see different areas, and one day I'll probably want a family of my own. But right now, we love each other, and we don't want it to end. We keep pushing off the conversation about our future because neither of us knows what to do. I would be devastated without him, but our long term looks pretty bleak. I'm trying to get an outside perspective, and since I don't talk to any of my friends about him, is there any way you guys can tell me, will this relationship work out?
Wow.
So, Nick, you've dated a lot of older men. Those don't seem to go really well, huh? Well, it doesn't work out, huh?
I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, checkmate.
So I guess one thing that kind of stuck out to me when she was saying that this looks pretty bleak, and I don't talk to any of my friends about him.
Yeah,
that was because the age difference, yes, that I can see is a factor, and it's weird how age differences become less of an issue the older you get.
Yeah, right.
So this is a pretty big age difference right here.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that she's not even talking to her friends about him, makes me think that there's
she's really worried about what people will think. Yeah. So, speaking of this age difference thing, and Nick, I'd be interested in your take on it. When people ask me, what's your rule? Do you have any rules about the age difference? Some people will have this rule about half your age plus 2 or something is like the absolute youngest you're allowed to date or something to that effect. I don't know. To me, here's my golden rule. When people ask me this question, I tell them this. I'm not so much interested in the number. I'm interested in station of life. And here's how I define that. Station of life. If you are a high schooler, let's say you're 14, and you want to date a 17-year-old, even though there's only a 3-year difference, your station of life is sort of fundamentally different. The 14-year-old is just learning how high school works. They're a freshman. The 17-year-old can drive. The 17-year-old's about to leave. They can go to the military. They're about to graduate, thinking about college. And so their stations of life are actually very dissimilar, even though they might even be in the same school. And the same thing applies everywhere upward. So, I'm a 18-year-old senior in high school, and I'm considering dating a 25-year-old who's just graduating college. Is that okay? I'm not so much interested in the number difference. I'm interested in the station of life difference. Their field of vision, what is normal in their world, doesn't match your world. Their friend sets aren't going to match your friend sets. Their prospects don't match your prospects. So in this situation, we have somebody who is an adult and is wrapping up college and is dating somebody who is well into their career, has kids, is more stable and all that. I see a difference in station of life, but not so drastic that I'm necessarily worried about it. But clearly she is. And it sounds like in the history of the relationship, there was a difference of station. She was in college. She was focusing on that realm of life in her early 20s, becoming able to drink, becoming this adult. And he's sort of this well-established adult. And yet it seems to have worked out. She says that they seem to have a human connection. It began sexually, which, okay, but it evolved into something more. So to me, one thing that I hear in this question that I want to address is the legitimacy of the relationship. I'm interested in your opinion, Nick. My opinion is, at first glance, I'm not seeing any illegitimacy that really scares me. I do think it's a legitimate relationship, but I want to address some of these holdouts. Are you worried that other people will not see it as legitimate? And can we discuss that belief that you have?
Right. Well, and if I were to ask the listener, I would want to know, is the stations in life difference part of the reason she's not communicating to her friends?
Sure.
I get the family thing.
Yeah.
But not communicating to the friends about this person. Is it because she herself even recognizes?
They won't relate. They'll say, what? That guy's got kids?
Or that she herself recognizes that they're at different stations of life.
Yeah, good point.
But doesn't want to really talk about it, doesn't want to address it, because once you verbalize it, then now you've made the problem existent. Now you have to deal with it.
So maybe her reluctance to invite other people to even be aware of this guy's existence is sort of evidence that the station of life is more disparate than I at first perceived.
That's what I was thinking. But here's the other thing, too. She's 21. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know that personality doesn't fully develop until you're mid to late 20s.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? So I've always said if I ever had children, God forbid, I would strongly encourage them not to get married until they're 25.
Yeah.
Just because you're 21 now.
Right.
In 4 years, you could be a different person.
Right.
You could have your focus in life, your stage in life.
Yes.
Is likely going to be different than what it is right now. And that's something to consider. His station in life probably isn't going to change.
He's probably 39. Who he is, yeah, for the most part. But that's a good point. Like, wait for the cement to dry before you build on it. I got married I was 20 years old and my wife was 19. We couldn't even drink at our own wedding. And it's funny because it's worked out. We've been together for over a decade. We have 2 beautiful kids. We're very committed, but it's fascinating because we always tell ourselves when our kids get to that age, we're forbidding this. Like, even though ours worked out, we almost don't want to tell them our love story because we don't want them to imitate that because we disagree. Like, why did our parents let us do this? Like, somebody should have said no. I don't think saying no to us would have worked, but I agree with you. So she's considering, Nick, what do I do? I'm at a position now where I kind of have to make this life choice. I'm drawn to wanting to explore the world and see the world, but I've invested in a relationship and I don't want to lose that. He happens to be older and stable, so he's not the type that's going to give up everything and come with me on a trip to Italy and Greece. Looking at that dynamic, Nick, when you say, okay, on one hand, stability and keeping an invested relationship that's working for you. On the other hand, sowing your oats, getting out and seeing the world, kick over some rocks, live a little, you're in your 20s. How do you personally reconcile those? And if you were faced with that choice, what might you choose?
Well, that's a difficult question. I can see both sides of that. I mean, obviously, like as you had pointed out, there have been people who have gotten married really young.
Yeah. Guilty.
They stayed together.
Right.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
And to me, in my mind, it defies logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is. It's an outlier.
But it does happen.
Don't do that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I don't advise it.
I'm definitely in no position to tell anybody how, how she should live her life. But it is something that I would encourage her to think about. Like, exactly like you said, you're 21.
Yeah.
He's knocking on the door of 40.
Yeah.
And, is that going to be, if this is something that you're self-conscious about now, is it likely that you're going to feel better about it in the future or worse about it in the future?
Right.
What potential obstacles do you see that you're going to have to overcome in this relationship? And do you feel like those obstacles are legitimately something that you can overcome? Or, does the thought of having to work through those obstacles frighten you?
Yeah.
And make some decisions about that. Seriously consider, what things might possibly look like in the future.
I agree. And I think, again, for me, it kind of comes back to the stations of life thing. For me, I'm kind of looking at it going, hey, your station of life at 21 is exploratory. It's self-discovery. That's the season you're in. That's the chapter of your book that you're writing. And there's a lot of peers that you probably have who, through other life choices, perhaps have children by this age or, are married and settled down and living back in the town you came from. Analyze their story. If you envy them and you think, wow, they've really got it made, they're living the dream, they're very satisfied, there you go. I think you can sense an internal compass calling you into a deeper and more permanent relationship with somebody that is deeper and more permanent. Mm-hmm. But if you look at them and say, I don't envy them, I feel like they settled down too early, I feel like they don't have options and I like my options, follow your compass. I think your compass is pointing you in a direction of self-discovery, self-exploration. If I'm a 39-year-old dating a 21-year-old, I'm worried she's going to go and live her life. I'm thinking I'm not, following her on this adventure. So I'm biased in her hopefully choosing me and sticking around and stuff. But, I would encourage her to mute him, and tune inwardly. And honestly, before you make a big choice, I would bounce these things off your family. I would bounce them off your friends. These people exist in your life to be your soundboard, and you're intentionally not allowing them to be part of this, and you're about to make a life choice. I encourage you to reach for those stakeholders.
Right. Yeah, because if you're not reaching out to to your support system, if it's something that's bothering you so bad that you feel like you can't address it with your support system,
right?
That right there, I think, says a lot.
And this is a little different, guys. I've had people write in before that say, listen, I'm dating somebody of a different race, and I'm nervous to tell my family because I don't sense that they would be culturally sensitive enough to understand this. Okay, yeah, I get it. That's an interesting thing. I'm still going to challenge you to have the hard talk, and let's go there. Let's find out what their opinions are. In this situation, your parents and your friends are going to weigh in with their own reservations. I expect that none of that will sound novel to you. I expect that you'll hear it all and go, yep, Yep, I've had those thoughts too. These are legitimate. And you'll feel defensive, and you'll need to defend yourself and explain your choices. Do it. I think that you're probably capable of explaining your own choices. You are an adult. But get